Take up, put that on. Wait, life, ice skate. Surfing at a wrist car, 10 to pink toes.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Gabe. Today's video is just going to be talking about the new released M3 and M4. Finally, we got to see them in the flesh. But yeah, we're going to talk about the different things that I do like and dislike about this car. I think there's a lot to love about this car, and I think there's a lot of people that are writing this car off just because of those front grills. I have images pulled up right here on my computer. That's why I'm pointing to it. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, first thing to talk about, obviously, is those grills. Everyone wants to make a big deal out of them, and to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of what they. I'm not a fan of how they look. Maybe in person it's better looking. I've seen many journalists and YouTube, I guess, journalists as well, talk about how the grills look good in person. I'm kind of skeptical. I'm gonna wait until I see it in person to actually give my 100% honest opinion about it. But I feel like every other part of this car is sexy. The hips, even on the front quarter panels, right? They talked about how they took inspiration from the E30 M3. E30 M3 has those big, wide front quarter panels and rear quarter panels, and you could definitely see it here in the M3 and in the M4. The M4 of last generation had what I thought was not as thick of an ass than the F80 M3, but on this new gen, yeah, you can definitely tell with just the pictures, just seeing a side profile straight down the car. Yeah, you definitely can tell how that back end is noticeably wider. The F80 again, or sorry, the G80 M3 again comes with those really aggressive, almost looks like a wide body almost. It comes with those aggressive fender flares in the rear end, which I absolutely love. Like, that is just the best thing about the F80 to me, and they carry that over into the G80 and actually make it wider. So I think what I heard was it's supposed to be 18 millimeters wider than the F80. That could be 18 millimeters wider than the G20, the M30, or sorry, the M340i. But to be honest with you, I think they're talking about the F80 and the F82 because there should be a massive gap between the M340i and 18 millimeters doesn't really seem like that's a lot. That's 18 millimeters is probably that big. But yeah, then let's talk about the power plant of this car. It's using the S58 motor that's already being used in the X3 and X4M. And we've already seen tuners out there making 700 plus horsepower on stock turbos, stock fuel system, just straight up either an E85 or an E30 or even a 91 octane race gas type tunes. These cars are making massive power with these S58 motors, and something that you couldn't do on the F8X because of that Crankhub. Unless you got the Crankhub fix, you're risking some serious engine damage, which firsthand I experienced. But with this new S58, you don't have to worry about that. The crankshaft and the Crankhub is basically one solid piece. I think I heard one of my buddies, Omar, say that it's actually keyed from the factory. So, yeah, that'd be nice to not have to worry about that shit anymore, because that was pretty much the only Achilles heel when actually modifying these motors. What else? We got the X-Drive system coming to M cars. I'm not a fan of it. I do not think that it is a something that's true to the M brand, but I understand it is the future, and I understand that it'll probably sell a lot more units just because people on the East Coast here in America, it snows a lot up there, Northeast. Pretty much everywhere up north it snows. So I could see the use of X-Drive being very helpful for those who, just want to take their sports car to work and back, and everything in between. But for something like myself, which I actually plan to track the car, X-Drive to me adds more weight, and the car's already not that light. So this car comes in at 3840 with a manual transmission, 3880 with a ZF8. Now this is plus or minus options, of course. I know my F80 weighed 3650. It was 3640 on the dot, and these cars were advertised as like 3450 or something like that, something super lightweight, but in reality they weren't that lightweight when you spec'd them out. So I'm not saying that the car is massively different from the F80, and honestly I don't think we're going to be able to notice a difference given the power and the drivetrain and the power plant of the G8X. I don't think we're going to be able to tell a difference, to be honest with you. I think this car is going to be so damn fast and that you'll never notice a difference. And even with the F80, I've never had somebody ride with me and think to myself like, damn, like he is literally weighing down my car. I've never felt that way. The car just makes so much power that you don't really notice that 200 to 250 pound weight difference in the car. Also, you got for track tech, you got the carbon ceramic brakes. They already had that in F8X generation, but standard now in the front is going to be a 6-piston caliper, which is going to be really nice, and that's going to be for carbon ceramics and the regular steelies. And then the rear, you have a floating, what do they call it? The floating rear caliper. It's just a 2-piston on each side. A lot of people are complaining that for a sports car that's almost $100,000 when fully spec'd, that it should come with a big brake kit in the rear. To be honest with you, it doesn't really bother me. Yeah, it is ugly. It doesn't look as good as a BBK, but the rear brakes aren't really doing much braking. The most force that you need is going to be up front, which they provide us with that 6-piston caliper. Now from factory, you're not going to be stuck with just the blue paint or the gold paint. They're going to have a couple different options. It's red, black, blue, and then carbon ceramics still get the gold. I'm not sure if they get another option for color, but I think it'll be nice. It'll be good to see some customized individuals out there, which the customization on the exterior is pretty much underwhelming compared to what you can do to the interior of the car, or what I suspect you can do. So in the release of the car, the press release, they showed an M4 in Sao Paulo yellow, and the interior had the Sao Paulo yellow and Yas Marina blue seats, and it was black as well with the black center strip. And hopefully that means with the individual programs we're going to be able to choose 2 different colors on the seats if we want to. I'm not saying necessarily that's something I would do, but having the customization out there, it'll be nice to see all these different individual builds and see how people spec these cars for sure. The colors that they come out with, Sao Paulo yellow, it's a pretty cool color. It's like the birch green from the last generation. It's like acid green for Porsche fans out there. It's not something I would choose. It's a little too much in your face. Something like that I feel needs to be an accent to a darker color or a less bold color. But nonetheless, they gave it to us. You have obviously Alpine white. What do you have here? Isle of Man green is gorgeous. It's like a British racing green. Really pretty color. You got a couple different blues. You have a red. Right now on the website, if you go to spec one out yourself, it's very limited on the options it gives you online, but I'm sure if you went in person, you'll be able to really get into detail to your local dealership. You'll really be able to choose every little thing. But my favorite color so far that I've seen, and I'll put up an image of it right now, is a frozen mineral white, something like that. Just the front end of this car, it reminds me of looking at a ski mask. A hockey mask. And I really think it looks badass. the front end on that color specifically, I think looks badass. I also saw a black one, black F80 or sorry G80 image. That one looked pretty nice as well. So I think the colors are going to be dope, and I really think it depends on what color you spec. That will make or break your own vehicle. I don't think all these are going to look pretty, to be honest with you. But I think that hopefully with the individual program being as tricked out as I think it'll be, we'll see some pretty badass specs out there for sure. A couple things that they brought that's new to this model is as far as M Performance parts is going to be, you have a brand new lip to go with that front fender. You have now factory side skirts you can get, and they're gloss black, I think. And then you have a rear diffuser. And the big thing with the M Performance parts that I saw was the wing and the quad exhaust that looks like the LFA exhaust. So it's got it's got 4 tips right in the middle, and it uses its own diffuser, and it's going to be specific to the M Performance exhaust. Now, I'm not going to lie, I am not a fan of this at all. I think it's trying too hard to look like a supercar here, when it's never been a supercar. The F80 to me, the M3 in general has just been a beautiful sports car, beautiful, just aggressive looking sports sedan, sport coupe. Nothing that's been over the edge, over the top. I mean, you pretty much are just upgrading your 3 Series. If you think about it, I mean, you're getting a lot more than just, I mean, it's easier said than done, but you're getting a lot with the M3 over the regular 3 Series. But they've never really taken the looks of the M3 and made it absolutely crazy over the regular 3 Series. And I feel like going with this quad center exhaust is getting a little ridiculous. It's getting a little bit too over the top for my personal preference. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see it in person. That's another thing I want to wait and see. Another thing that I think is badass is those carbon fiber seats. They're going to be about an $8,000 to $9,000 option here in the U.S. And hopefully we're going to be able to spec those out all kinds of different ways, like the display car or the release car was with the basically 3 colors on it. So that'll be dope to see. But overall, I think that the G80 is going to be one of those cars like the F80 was, and like the E92, where M fans at first they don't accept it. They don't like it, but when it comes out and it starts to gap your ass on the street and on the track, you're gonna get rid of those. You're gonna get over those looks real quick, and you'll get one, or the looks will grow on you and you end up getting one either way. Never has BMW M produced a car that was worse than the last generation, and a lot of people are trying to tell me that the weight that's added to this car is going to make it worse. That's a big negative. That is a big negative. Yes, weight is bad, and I would never argue to say that weight is good. That's why I gut my track cars. But stock for stock, this car is going to kill the F80. It's going to kill the E36, E46, E92, and the old faithful E30 M3. They're just not going to release a car that's worse than the last gen. It just wouldn't make any sense. So I'll be excited to see the road tests. What I'm really excited to see is I'm really excited to see how Randy Popes does in a manual version against the ZF8 version of the new generation. But yeah, we'll see. I really think that it's going to be closer than people expect, and the competition is supposed to make a lot more power and torque. So we'll see. Competition only comes in a ZF8. The regular pure model comes with the 6-speed manual. They got rid of the dual clutch transmission, which I cannot believe and I don't agree with at all. But hopefully this is just hopefully they're saving a dual clutch for a better model, maybe a CS, maybe a GTS. I know they were talking about potentially the reason why was money savings or weight reduction. To be honest with you, I don't care what it was a terrible move. And they also talked about it being better than dual clutches. But my argument would be to that is, what about PDK? PDK is by far the best automatic transmission right now. You have some of the Chevrolet and Ford 10 speeds that are supposed to be shifting faster than a PDK. But if you look right now, they're facing a lawsuit because of that trans not being reliable. You're talking about a trans that only lasts around 15 to 25,000 miles before it takes a shit. Meanwhile, we have PDK gearboxes in the hundreds of thousands of miles already in some of the base model 911s and Caymans. So I'm not a fan of the ZF8, and I think BMW screwed up. I feel like if they put the R&D into the dual clutch, we would have been having something very similar to PDK. But the ZF8, I guess I'll have to drive it and leave my judgment for this new generation of ZF8 gearbox. That's pretty much it. I've already been talking for 16 minutes now, but if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, my name is Gabe. I make content on my F80 M3 that's built for the track, my GT3 991 GT3 Porsche, and I haven't made a video on my E46 M3 in probably like a year and a half, and I'm actually going to get back into doing that. I think you guys would really like my spec E46. It's Laguna Seca blue BBS wheels. It's a beautiful car. I've just never included it on the channel because I've never known that anybody would have some interest in that. But we'll see. I'll drop a video and then see how it's received, and then go from there and see if people want more content of that car. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Take it easy. If you guys have any questions for me, drop in the comment section. If there was something I missed or you want to talk about, please leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get back to it as soon as possible. Other than that, talk to you guys later. Peace.